queue using linked list. Implementation of queue using linked list. So in queue, suppose when it is represented as a linked list, suppose queue is a data structure, and in C we will declare this data structure using struct, and we will name this structure as queue. And in this data structure there will be two pointer, front and rear, front pointer and rear pointer. Front pointer will point to the front node of the queue, and rear pointer will point to the rear node of the queue. As when the insertion is being done, so rear pointer is modified because a new element is added. So the rear pointer will be modified so that it will point to the next new item which has been added. So the previous rear item pointed to the previous rear item will be changed. Now the rear will point to the new item which has been added. And in case of insertion, when we are deleting from the front end, after deletion, the pointer should point to the next item, next element in the queue. So in this way, the front and rear pointer is getting modified. As is in case of every operation, insertion or deletion, the pointer is getting, the front and rear node is getting changed. So we need to access to reflect this change outside of the function. We have to use a pointer so that it will point to the front node or it will point to the rear node. So we will. So what will be the structure of the queue? There will be two pointers. One is front pointer and other is rear pointer. So this is a queue pointer which is pointing to the queue, which contains which is pointing to the queue where it's a structure containing two pointers, front feature, which points to the front node of the queue, and then there is the address, there is a pointer, rear pointer, which contains the address of the rear node of the queue. Suppose it is at location 1000 and this is location at 1002. So queue pointer will contain the address of this node, which is a queue. Okay. Now, so it will contain 1000. Suppose it is located in location 2000. So we will initially, when the queue is initialized, then the queue is empty. So front pointer will point to no node and rear pointer will point to nothing. So they will only have the value null pointer, both of them initially when the queue is initialized. So to initialize a queue when no node has been added in the queue, so how this can be done? So for that we will use a function void, which does not return anything. So void init queue. This is a function which will initialize the queue. That means the front pointer and rear pointer will be assigned the null pointer. That is only the initialization. And when we are calling the function, we are passing the parameter. We are passing the parameter of the, which is the address which is pointing to the queue. So here, so what will be the? I mean, it is pointing to which data type? It is pointing to a queue. And how this queue can be represented? For that, we will use a structure. We have to declare a structure, and we are giving the name of the structure as queue. And it will contain only two pointers, which will be pointing to every node in the list. Suppose these are the node in the queue. Suppose this is 10, then which is at location 100 and next part is 102. then it will point to next item in the queue, which is at location 200, and next part is in location 2202, because it is storing the value 20. Now this is the front node of the, if this is the front node of the queue, so this will contain the address of the next node, which is equals to 200. Similarly, this node next part will point to the next node in the queue. Suppose the item is 30, and after that no such node exists, so it will be null. Suppose it is at location 300 and this is 302. So this part will contain the address of the next node, starting address of the next node, which is 300. So how to declare every node in the queue? So this is a structure because we are storing two different data items. One part is integer or float, what may be the value you want to store, and the second part is the pointer, which is pointing to the next node in the queue. So how each of the nodes can be, this data type will be, it will be a structure. So we declare this structure by using this method. It's a structure with keyword. And suppose node is the name of the structure, which is containing two parts. One is int data, that is first word will contain the data part, and the second part will be pointer to the next node, which is of type struct node, because every node is of type struct node. So it's a pointer to another next structure. So the pointer, it will be a pointer of type struct node, and it will point to the next node in the list. So every node, the data type of every node will be declared by this structure variable. Okay. Now, how to declare the queue? How to declare the queue? Which will be pointing to the front node, which will have two pointers, front pointer and rear pointer. So this queue is also be declared as a structure which has only two members. One part is pointing to the front node, and second part is a pointer which is pointing to the rear node. And each node is of type struct node. So struct queue will contain two pointers of type struct node pointer, which is name is front pointer, and the second part of queue is another pointer which is pointing to struct node pointer, which is rear pointer. So that is the declaration that is to be done. So it declares the queue and it declares each node in the queue.